It's not an academic job in the sense that it's a practical job, it's a vocational job. You know, you're working with patients, you're not writing assignments.
Yeah.
So the expectations of students when they qualify is very different to what I experienced when I qualified, because I knew what I was getting into.
I don't understand. I'm being stupid. You don't have to mince your words or anything. I don't quite. So I don't understand. It's my fault, I'm sure.
When students, it's when students qualify, because they don't spend enough time clinically working in the hospital, they're spending more time at university.
Okay.
Then when they're launched into the real world of radiography,
alongside experienced radiographers.
Yes. It is a huge
and that adds enormously to the stresses and the workplace pressures on the experienced radiographers that are having to hold their hands.
Absolutely.
Right.
The other thing is I'm going to use the COVID.
Yes.
That has added a massive pressure into the NHS, which we all know about, and I'm not going to bang on about that. But what happened was, when COVID hit, the majority of all other areas of the hospitals were dealing with the cancer patients and urgent referrals. Routine stuff kind of was put on the back burner.
Yes.
The one department that...
You could go there at 6, 7 o'clock at night and you get little gangs of people basically drug dealing or sitting there drinking, and it's very unpleasant. The smell of smashed glass. I can't believe how much smashed glass there is everywhere. I've stepped in several times.
As it did when we went to having cars. I remember, because I'm old enough to remember, when not many people in my borough had cars. Now we have a situation where our roads are clogged and the pollution is high. Remember, we had the similar debates in the 1950s about smog and changing from coal to other forms of heating in homes. It's the same type of a debate, but this time it's on vehicles, not the homes.
Yeah, and there's a massive cost of living crisis. On London councils, the last time we spoke, and I do appreciate it was a while ago, Darren, and thank you for coming on. And
no worries,
you can go to that meeting in a minute, right? I just haven't quite finished with you.
My PA.
Yeah, no, I haven't quite finished with you yet. Sorry, London hasn't quite finished with you yet. Okay?
Yeah, no, that's fine, mate.
Right, so last time you were on, I think, if my memory serves me rightly, you were deputy chair for housing on London councils. Are you still that person?
Well, I'm deputy chair of London councils, and I'm the housing lead.
That's better. That's better.
Yes, there you go.
Tell me how, because this program, I say this program, I used to be on drive time, as you know.
You did.
Our program, or me personally, really affected in the 20 years I've been here by Grenfell. Really badly affected in terms of I've been there multiple times. I've developed relationships with people there. How did you, as lead for London councils, react to the levelling up secretary effectively admitting what every one of us with a brain cell in our heads knew years ago, which is that the systems or lack of therein played a part in the tragedy that was Grenfell?
If I'm being honest with you, when I first saw Grenfell and I saw it not long after, I was physically sick. To think what had happened. Unfortunately, and we've had other fires, thank God not to the level of that. I think we can be doing a lot more, and there should be a lot more done, because I think for quite a period of time, the controls were not in place, led by local government or the London Fire Brigade, to make sure what buildings were being built were what I would class as safe.
Well, just stick a pin in it there. I want to be definitive with this answer, because I want your reaction to what Michael Gove said.
I think, again, this is too, well, it's not too late, because we can always change, but it could have been done a lot quicker, and I think there's a lot more that needs to be done. And I'd love to have the conversation with Mr. Gove about this, the same as I'd had conversations with his predecessors on this very subject.
There have been a lot of them, haven't there? There have been a lot of these predecessors. I think that, you know, the first thing that strikes me, and because I've interviewed Andy Rowe, the head of the London Fire Brigade, is the kind of, and of course we're still waiting for the outcome of the inquiry and the criminal investigation, is the personal evacuation plan. I mean, it's difficult to get away from the idea that anybody with a disability, anybody with a challenge should have a plan to escape from a burning building.
Yeah, so if the building was actually, if all the records, as I understand it, and this is only as I understand it, if all the records had been right and the fire gaps had been in situ and everything else, actually to stay put was the right thing. The fact is there were so many things wrong with that. The London Fire Brigade didn't stand a chance when they went to that fire. I think it's clear for all of us to see. What we've got to make sure is what we are building is safe in the first instance, and also ecologically right, because the cost of living crisis is happening because we don't have the right installations, and we have a lot of hereditary issues with lots of buildings. So there has to be an adult conversation about all of these issues, which actually has to have the politics taken out of it. And we've got to remember, this is for people, and for me it's for Londoners. And you know, I am never shy in coming forward and having conversations about any of the difficult topics, and I'm always happy to come on. But what I can tell you is every person, every leader in London wants the best for Londoners. I do a call with all housing leads across London, all different political parties, and we are fighting all the different issues on behalf of Londoners, but the bottom line is there has not been enough investment for a very long time, and there's been issues with the way people have been building in the last distant, history of house building.
Darren, listen, longer than I'd thought and more wide-ranging, but I think important for London. Happy New Year. I appreciate you coming on. We'll continue to discuss what we talked about there. Darren Rodwell talking about ULEZ, talking about housing. I haven't heard enough from you. 0800 731 2000. Pick up the phone.
From the BBC Sounds app, on your smart speaker,
play BBC Radio London,
and on your radio. The sound of London is BBC Radio London.
At midday, with the latest for London, I'm Matthew Schofield. Rishi Sunak has defended his decision to wait for the outcome of an inquiry before sacking the Conservative Party chair Nadhim Zahawi. Opposition parties say the Prime Minister should have fired him sooner when it emerged he hadn't disclosed that his tax affairs had been investigated by HMRC. Mr. Sunak says integrity is really important to him, and he acted pretty decisively when his independent ethics advisor found Mr. Zahawi had committed a serious breach of the Ministerial Code of Conduct.
It relates to things that happened well before I was Prime Minister, so unfortunately I can't change what happened in the past. What you can hold me accountable for is, look, what did you do about it? What I did as soon as I knew about the situation was appoint somebody independent, looked at it, got the advice, and then acted pretty decisively to move on, because that's what I think all of you deserve from me and from government.
Mr. Sunak was speaking to reporters at the launch of his government's plans to reduce the burden on A&E departments next winter. £1 billion of existing funding will be used to provide 800 more ambulances and 5,000 more hospital beds. Critics say what's really needed is more staff. Sally Warren is from the King's Fund, a think tank that specialises in healthcare policy.
It's certainly a step in the right direction, but it's not a plan that's going to make an immediate difference to this winter. The hope is it will begin to mean that entering next winter, our urgent and emergency care systems are more stable, but really key to whether this plan can be implemented or not is if there's the staff available across the NHS to be able to deliver the ambitions that the government has set out today.
The government's given developers 6 weeks to commit to remove dangerous cladding and fix unsafe buildings. The Housing Secretary, Michael Gove, says any that don't could effectively be blocked from operating in the housing market. The government spent 5 years and billions of pounds trying to fix shortcomings exposed by the fire at Grenfell Tower. Officials in Pakistan say around 30 people have been killed and 150 injured in a suspected suicide bombing at a mosque in the city of Peshawar. Reports suggest a man sitting in the front row blew himself up, destroying part of the building and leaving people buried under the rubble. The Kremlin has accused Boris Johnson of lying when he told the BBC President Putin threatened him personally with a missile strike. In a documentary that goes out tonight on BBC Two, Mr. Johnson says Mr. Putin told him it would only take a minute during a phone call in the run-up to Russia's invasion of Ukraine when he was still Prime Minister. The Fire Brigade says the cause of Thursday night's fire that destroyed a Victorian church in St John's Wood will remain undetermined, because the burnt-out shell of the building is too unsafe. Yesterday, the Vicar of St Mark's, Kate Harrison, told the BBC the cause may never be known. Sadiq Khan is facing growing pressure from councils to reconsider his plan to expand the ultra-low emission zone across the whole of London. 11 of the 19 outer boroughs have now expressed concern about the scheme, and some are considering legal action. The Mayor says it's necessary to reduce London's toxic air pollution, and today he's opening his new vehicle scrappage scheme. City Hall set aside more than £100 million to help some Londoners trade in their old vehicle for a new compliant one. But Caroline Pidgeon from the Liberal Democrat says it's not enough.
Our basic view is that 110 million is still not going to be enough to help all those people in outer London who need to clean up their vehicles. And actually, it's the right policy decision cleaning up air, but we've got to help Londoners get there. And that needs far more support in terms of scrappage and alternatives.
Good afternoon, I'm Kate Kinsella with London's weather. Plenty of sunshine around today, a little bit of a northwesterly breeze, patchy cloud, with temperatures reaching double figures at 10 Celsius. Overnight clear to start with, a bit more cloud through the second half of the night. Minimum temperature around 2 or 3 Celsius, still quite chilly. And then for tomorrow, patchy rain for the morning. It will clear south though to a drier afternoon with some sunshine.
For an update anytime, you can ask your smart speaker to play BBC News for London.
I'm James Worley with the BBC Radio London Travel. The A10 Stoke Newington High Street stays closed from Tyson Road up to Brook Road because of the collapsed building, the partially collapsed building on Friday. It's going to be closed for a number of days, so Hackney Council and several buses are on diversion, including the 149, the 276 and the 67. Moving on to Epping Forest, the Epping Road still shut between the Wakeham's roundabout and Crown Hill because of a crash. A24 Leatherhead bypass queuing towards the Beaverbrook roundabout through those roadworks, are in the queues across Mitcham Common on the A236 Mitcham Road because of the gasworks at Red House Road. BBC Radio London, next travel in 30 minutes.
We don't do it for the reward, it's just to share friendship and welcome everyone.
The Make a Difference Awards.
Nominations are now open. Go to bbc.co.uk/make a difference.
Eddie Nesta. BBC
Radio London.
I need to talk to you. I need to talk to I need to talk. I've just talked to experts all day, and you know I'm allergic to experts. I'm itching now. Good day to you. How are you? What's on the agenda? Over 50s in the workplace. Come on, I need to hear. Surely they are singularly the most valuable people. With the experience, can still move a bit, doesn't have to use too much, I don't know, deep heat, but apparently they're the people who are disappearing off the work register. I'd like to talk about that. We continue our conversation about ULEZ. I don't know, is it a big subject? Money's come out for scrappage, but sort of 11 of the 19 boroughs that are going to be affected by the expansion have registered some level of dissatisfaction. I hope that's the appropriate way to phrase it. And Memphis, that video, the police, power, killing of a person. Did you watch it? There you go. Let's just start with something simple. Did you watch it? If not, why not? And if you did, how did you feel? 0800 731 2000. Now listen, one of the big fights we have on this show is, please, can I have on this day? What's on this day? Well, it's the 30th of January, and when I think of the 30th of January, I think, geez, has my accountant is my self-assessment in? Is everything straight? Because if not, it's another £100 that I haven't got that has to be paid out. But every now and again, not that I have any problem with the BBC Radio London playlist, I just want to register that. If at any time it's appeared as though I have, then I would like to sincerely apologise. I don't have any. I like looking for the birthdays because it's the only way I can affect the change. Anyway, 1951, that's what I found for you today. In 1951, Oscar, Grammy, novella, Brit award-winning musician. You know what I'm talking about? Not many people can have won all of those. Surely not. Come on, tell me who it is. 1951, of course, Phil Collins, a drummer, pop singer, songwriter, all-round good guy. It's his birthday today. So, Philip, happy birthday.
You would work hard to get it.
Well, I once got a fake handbag, like a Longchamp fake handbag when I was on holiday. I mean, the quality was, like, to be honest, no different, because I've got a real one in it, and you wouldn't notice the difference in quality.
So you don't question the sort of ethics of it, because at the end of the day it comes down to price?
Yeah, I know, like, it's not the best, but, like, it doesn't make a difference to me, to be honest. Just the price, yeah.
I have been bought fake stuff by somebody else as a present, but I have never bought any myself. It was a couple of t-shirts from a market in Turkey, I think is where they came from.
Yeah, same more or less. It's abroad. I don't think I've ever bought, like, domestically fake clothes, but yeah, I got, like, fake t-shirts and stuff in Spain, and football shirts mainly.
I mean, obviously it's not illegal to buy fake goods, but it's illegal to sell them. But have you ever questioned the sort of the rights and wrongs of it?
You think, I suppose, about the big companies anyway. You probably don't think about them, because, like, one fake t-shirt isn't really going to ruin them. A lot of big companies exploit people, so it's kind of like lesser of two evils, I suppose some people might argue.
Have you heard of an area just near to here on Bury New Road? It's kind of been dubbed Counterfeit Street because of the number of fake designer traders along there. Have you heard of that?
I have heard of that, yeah.
What do you think about the fact that an area like that exists just on the outskirts of a city like Manchester? Does that bother you at all?
I don't think it really bothers me, just because it's an area that I would personally never go to, and it's somebody's choice to go to those shops. And
so the police are clamping down on it at the moment, and they've shut quite a few of these premises because they're highlighting the links to other types of criminality. Being aware of that, would that put you off buying fake designer goods?
Yeah, I think definitely that puts you off, because you don't know where that money's going or what that money's funding.
The majority of the people I stopped on the street didn't have a problem with buying fake goods. It was only when I pointed out the potential links to criminality that they recognised it wasn't quite so clear-cut. According to research conducted by National Trading Standards, more than a quarter of people believe fakes are a cheaper way to get what you want, and 17% think buying fakes doesn't do anyone any harm.
Hello.
Hello, is that Louise?
It is, come in.
Thank you. The whole counterfeit culture of this part of the city has inspired a couple of artists to create an installation about it. It's called Believing is Seeing, and I went to meet one of the people behind it at their home in Prestwich. Her name is Louise Garman. It was funded by the Bury New Road Heritage Project. She was given £100 to shop on Counterfeit Street.
We were given £100 from the Heritage Fund, and we went down there and we were going to spend that money and get as much as we could, as best as we could, for the money.
And can you just describe for me what they're like inside?
It's like any other shop, like any other wholesale shop, packed with goods. But it's really quite shocking what they've got in there. They're copy watches that some of them are worth like 30 grand, and they've got them for 100 quid. You know, these are like really high-end trainers that you would pay £500–600 for. They're there for 50 quid. I mean, I can understand why people would go in there, because they are very accurate replicas.
So you bought your bags,
yeah,
and then what did you do?
We bought the bags, we bought a belt, we bought the sunglasses. So we spent £100, and then we calculated that they were all actually worth £2,740 if we'd have bought the originals. So we put the two bags on two plinths. We put the sunglasses in front of one and the belt round the plinth, and then I managed to get hold of some police tape, and we've tied it round the two plinths. So that's what the installation looks like.
How did you get the police tape?
We went down there one night, and it was when the Vulcan operation was actually just starting, and they were closing them down and putting big signs, this place has been closed down by Manchester Council. And there was a police car sat there, and he had the tape in the front of the car. So I said to him, excuse me, please can I have some of that tape for my art installation? And he said no, but they'd already used the tape all the way along the road. So I said, well, do you mind if I nick some? And he said, go on then, I'm not looking. So I actually took it. So this police tape is the original police tape.
This is operation. So this is genuine crime scene police tape. Yeah. Okay. So what do you want to prompt people to think about when they look at that installation?
I'd like people to think about the value of things. This is obviously illegal. It's all illegal down there. And maybe you find it immoral too. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but all I know is the pieces that we've got are the cheapest. If you were to buy the original, then the value shoots up. And then if you put them in the gallery, you know, if we ended up putting them in the Saatchi gallery, it would shoot up again. So, you know, if you jumble them all up, who would know the value of any of it? And is it wrong? You know, there's like a morality about it. I want people to think about, why is it illegal? Why is it immoral? Maybe it's immoral to be selling very, very expensive, overpriced goods to people as well. You know, it's just a play on it, really, and questioning it.
And artist Louise Garman talking to Catherine Earlham. Well, with me in the studio is Lisa Seamark. She's from Manchester's Trading Standards. And on the line is Detective Superintendent Neil Blackwood from Greater Manchester Police. Neil Blackwood, I know that you have been out on a raid this morning. What happened?
So this was part of Operation Vulcan, and yesterday afternoon we were alerted to a number of people being